It's race week, so let's take a look at the stories around the paddock and make some predictions for the upcoming weekend. The season opens this weekend in Melbourne, Australia with Oscar Piastri and rookie Jack Doohan racing in front of home crowd. This race has never been won by an Australian before, so expectations are high for them to pull a win this weekend. Speaking of wins, the podium celebrations will look a little bit different this year, with Pirelli designing new podium hats for 14 out of 24 of the races. These hats will represent the country and the culture of where the race is being held that weekend. This isn't the first time Pirelli have done this, with podium winners in 2012 at Coda receiving branded cowboy hats, and even last year with drivers receiving yellow hats in honor of Ayrton Senna. Now, let's get into the news of this race weekend. McLaren have announced a contract extension for Oscar Piastri. Contract extensions for senior staff at McLaren, such as Zach Brown and Andrea Stella, were also announced prior to this extension. Kick Sauber will be getting a new team principal starting April 1st, as Jonathan Wheatley joins the team. Wheatley is a former Red Bull sporting director and will be working alongside Mattia Binotto to assist the team through this transition. His debut will align with the Japanese Grand Prix. Finally this week, Alpine have announced their reserve for 2025 as Alpine Academy driver Kush Maini. Maini will take on this role while still racing in F2 for Dams. Now, let's look ahead at this weekend. Albert Park returns as a season opener this year with its 4 DRS zones and corners that love taking drivers out. At some point during the race weekend for the last 2 years, the red flag has been waved, with 2023 having it waved multiple times. It's also the race where we got to hear how scared the other drivers are of Lance Stroll.
You got Stroll.
Red, 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 red!
Corners 6 and 7 are the corners to watch this weekend, as this is where drivers love losing their cars. With grass and a gravel trap on the side, one wheel off the road will result in a loss of control for the drivers. Along with this, majority of the circuit has a barrier around the whole track, meaning drivers will have to be extremely accurate with where they place their cars. Another piece of the track to watch is the chicane at turn 1 and 2. Incidents during the first lap are common in the chicane as well as at the restarts. We've also seen the exit of turn 2 cause some issues for the drivers as they all bunch up on the exit. Pirelli have opted for their C5 to C3 tyres this weekend, with C5 being the softest and C3 the hardest. Last year, the two-stop strategy was the call for most teams, and I have no doubt that it's going to be the same this year. The hards were the favourite last year, with 80% of the laps being completed with them, with a stint average of 22 laps. With that being said, I will be surprised to see many of the cars starting with hards or softs, and I think most of them will be starting with mediums. Finally, let's get on to my predictions for this weekend. First up, my podiums. As much as I would love this race to be won by an Aussie finally and break the curse, my first place has to go to Lando Norris. This prediction comes based on the pace of the McLaren car in the last few races of the season, and the fact that Norris's pace consistency seems better than Piastri's. Second place goes to the Lion, Max Verstappen, with third place going to hometown hero Oscar Piastri. Of course, this race being the first of the season, we don't know the car's true pace until FP1 or even until qualifying, so these are all predictions that will most likely not be accurate yet. As for the other Aussie in the grid, I predict Jack Doohan will finish just outside of the points, roughly 11th or 12th. I also think if this is the case, this will add fuel to the fire of the Franco Colapinto replacement rumours. For my safety car bettors out there, yes, I do think there will be a safety car this weekend, and I think it will be within laps 1 to 20. And if you're playing along at home, yes, I do think that it will most likely be due to a crash into the barriers at turn 6 and 7. DNFs this weekend are going to Alex Albon because he loves shunting in Australia, and Nico Hulkenberg because I don't think that his move to kick Sauber will work for him. With 6 rookies joining the grid this year, I think only 2 of them will finish in the points in the first race. Of course, those 2 being Kimi Antonelli and Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman has shown that he is a point-scoring driver. Of course, we don't know the pace of the Haas yet, so it might be absolutely terrible. It might be a tractor, and he might finish outside of the points. Kimi Antonelli, on the other hand, is driving a Mercedes. It is a consistent point-finishing car, and if he doesn't finish in the points, I think Toto will be rethinking his choices. Anyway, what are your predictions for the race? Let me know in the comments below, and enjoy the race this weekend. See ya!